Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's been 14 days in the incursion of Ukraine. This is it's a very strange time. This has been a very strange situation for the people of Ukraine. And the past couple of days, there's been a lot of talk about how they need more guns, more weapons to help fight back against this incursion from Russia. And one of the things that they were talking about in mainstream media the last few days is that Poland is willing to offer up some of their MiG fighter jets to give to the Ukrainian fighter pilots. This is a little confusing because Poland is a part of NATO. So if they give weapons to Ukraine, are they indirectly getting NATO involved, in this situation? Which, if you've been paying attention to anything that's been going on the last 2 weeks, like if one part of NATO gets involved, then all of NATO's involved. So they're trying to figure out logistically how to get what Ukraine needs to them. Right. So it's like, this is like passing notes in school. Like I've got to give this to this person, to give to that person, to give it to this person. So this is very challenging. How do we have in America right now, we're having a problem with getting things to grocery stores. So this is still an occurring issue globally. But with this whole thing where they're needing these fighter jets and they're trying to figure out how to get them to them, the one thing that they've talked about yesterday, and the Pentagon has said, like, we're not interested in this deal, is sending their fighter jets to Germany, to Ramstein Air Force Base, which is a U.S. military Air Force base. And then, so that would be going west. Ukraine is east of Poland. So you want to send everything west to then somehow get it east. And where I get frustrated in this, when I hear these reports in the news and from the Pentagon and from the White House, we have several think tanks, buildings that are just full of people coming up with ideas, figuring out how to create a vaccine, how to, fix, financial crises. This is what these people do for a living. This is where all the big brains are supposed to be, at these think tanks. And our own military has its war college. So you have war historians. And where this frustrates me is because I look at this and, like, nobody planned for this. Nobody thought that this was going to happen. And I get that, right? But you plan for the worst and hope, for the best, especially in these situations. This seems like the Keystone Cops are running this, this whole situation over there in Ukraine. And I know that these people are smarter than this. I know President Zelensky and his staff that he has, that's, gives him information on what he should do as military leaders, are smarter than this. But it feels like a Benny Hill episode. Like everybody's just running around with their hair on fire, not knowing what to do. Yet everybody, all the pundits that are on mainstream media, are doing the armchair quarterbacking. Well, what they should have done is, and if I were the general today, this is what like, come on. Why is everybody so reactive? And we constantly are doing this with almost every situation that's been going on for the last several years, especially during the pandemic, is we're not thinking ahead. We're not trying to be proactive. When these situations arise, what are our countermeasures? And I think about this, with these fighter jets. If this will help Ukraine to defend themselves, why, on the very first day or days before, did Ukraine not put on buses or these trains where they're getting citizens out of the country? They've got over 2 million people evacuate. Why did they not immediately put all of their pilots, round up every pilot in Ukraine, whether it's commercial or private or military, and put them, on trains and buses to Poland, So Poland can say, well, here's these jets, here's the keys, fly them back home yourself. No involvement. You don't have to get Germany. You don't have to get United States. You don't have to get NATO involved. We're giving you these. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And this is what's so frustrating. I imagine it's frustrating for you. I hope it's frustrating for you. And listen, I don't mean to say that these things should be easy or simple. I don't want to diminish what's going on over there. But we supposedly have the best minds working on these things. And this is what they come up with. Go around your elbow to get to your ass. No wonder they're struggling. You have American businessmen right now, like Richard Childress, NASCAR team owner, who's been a friend of mine for many years, for all my years that I worked in motorsports. You know, and Richard is working with a company that I think he owns, that they're sending bullets over to Ukraine. So it's like we have the private sector is doing a better job of helping, Ukraine. There's all kinds of organizations that are sending food and, any kind of donated products to help these people that when they're coming into Poland and Hungary and these other countries, to at least have fresh water, clothes, food, anything. And they don't seem to be having any problem with logistics. But we can't send these people more Stinger missiles. We can't, send them fighter jets, or we can't make it easily accessible for them. Poland can't get them as far east as they possibly can from a local airport or something, to where they just literally just hop back across their border with these fighter jets. Or am I thinking too simply? Or does this make too much sense? It's one of these situations where it's like, well, that makes sense. That's why it'll never work, right? This is what makes this so frustrating for us watching this, because we do care. Here in America, I care. I feel sorry for these people. This is a terrible situation to go through. I can't even fathom the nightmare when I see these families that are carrying their children, their pets, all their belongings to try to escape. But what's the answer? I mean, our literal best military minds can't come up with anything better than travel west to head east. I need something to go, I'm in Tennessee. I need something to go to North Carolina. So I'm going to send it to Arkansas first. We need to communicate about this. We need dialogue. People need to be talking about this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment down below. I mean, it seems like these people can't come up with the answers, so we have to. I mean, this is where everybody can do their part. This is where you can do your part. If you have an idea, or, if you have a legal mind and you understand a lot of these things, because I don't. I mean, I don't know a lot of the politics that are involved in this, as far as what we can do, what we can't do, how much of our help does it make it look like we are helping, and we're kind of going against the rules of NATO, and where Russia would go, hey, you now you're at war with me. So how do we help these people? If you have any thoughts or suggestions or ideas, leave a comment down below. Hopefully somebody will see these things. They'll hear these things, or I'll be able to talk about it on my next show. Tell me what your thoughts are, because there's got to be easier ways for us to help these people and be able to help them today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. How can we help these people defend themselves? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. And again, as always, if you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you next time on The John Malone Show.